All right, okay.
You guys,
Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to learn today's Shi'ur Le'ilui Nishmat Le'a Rachel Bat Shammai. That's our dear Le'arei, whose Yom HaShana is today. Again, Eden Nishmata. And so we are doing Amud Yomi. We are now, this is the third day, Be'ezrat Hashem. We are embarking on Pesahim, Gimal Amud Aleph. We left three words from the previous page that are not really germane to the meaning, but the last, and again, the topic has been for the last couple of days to try to understand the word or in the Mishnah, or l'arba asar botkin et hametz, that or of the 14th you check for hametz, but we try to understand and define what or means. The two opinions that we thought we had, we're going to change them, but we thought the two opinions were or could either mean the night of the 14th, which is what we do nowadays, the night prior to the 14th, or could it mean the twilight of the morning? That means early in the morning, you check for chametz. We're going to see shortly that we're going to change that perception, but for now we've been assuming we struggle between those two opinions, trying to prove one versus the other. So this is the next proof. Mativ, you have to change the...
Where are we?
You have to change the girsa here. One yud is extra. Mativ more zutra. Now we're switching to Gimel Amud Aleph 3a. More zutra brings a proof. Okay. Hamapelet or lishmonim ve'ahat. I'll translate the first line and I'll tell you the background. A lady who miscarries or of the 81st day. Now, what's the background here? Okay, so the Torah says that when a lady gives birth, now in the biblical realm of halakha, not what we do nowadays, when the biblical halakha was observed verbatim as it was, and there was a Bet HaMikdash, which means that the korbanot were brought as necessary, the Torah says that a lady who gives birth has numerous things to worry about. Number one, if she gives birth to a boy, she becomes tameh automatically as if she's a nida for 7 days, regardless of what her bleeding situation is. Merely giving birth makes tameh. If she gives birth to a girl, she becomes tameh. The birthing mom becomes tameh for 14 days. Okay. Following these periods of tum'ah, then she's going to have a period of free reign, so to speak, right, of tahora, of being pure. No matter, even if she sees blood, she's pure. For a boy, it's a period of 33 days of automatic purity that follows the 7 days impurity. For a girl, there's a period of 66 days of purity, automatic purity, granted purity, that follows the 14 days impurity. So that means that she's going to have a totality of 40 days of counting, so to speak, after giving birth to a boy, and 80 days of counting, so to speak, after giving birth to a girl. At the end of this time period, 40 for a boy and 80 for a girl, the Torah says she brings two sacrifices. Right? She brings a hatat and an olah. Okay? That's the basic background. Good. Now, what if a lady does not give birth, but she miscarries, and the fetus is identifiable whether it's a male or a female? The halakha is that if the miscarriage takes place after 40 days of conception, that's considered, as far as this halakha is considered, like giving birth, as far as this halakha goes, and therefore she will also have the same time period, 7 plus 33 for a boy, and then 14, and then 66 for a girl. Okay, now, third variable here, and this is the case we're talking about here almost. Okay, what happens if a lady gave birth? Fine, so she gave birth, let's make it simple. She gave birth to a girl. Okay, so she counted 14 days as if she's nida, as if she's not clean. Right, Ruben? Now she's in the middle of counting the next 66 days of being clean automatically. Okay, because she's clean, she could be with the husband. Wonderful. She conceives during the 66 days time period, and she miscarries. So she hasn't gotten a chance yet to bring the sacrifices for the first child. She's still counting the 66 days, right? But in the middle of the 6 days, she conceives and she miscarries after a 40-day conception period, let's say. Make it simple. So there's two reasons why I should bring in two sets of sacrifices. We won't get into the background of the Pesukim. The Torah teaches us that as long as this process all took place within that 66 days time period, the halacha is that when she is done with the 80-day total time period, she brings only one sacrifice. That's going to cover for the birth and the miscarriage both. But if she conceived during the 6-day period, but she gave birth after day 81 already, that requires a new, or miscarried after day 81, that requires a new korban. Okay, so you covered if the conception miscarriage was both within these 80 days. So the case here is a case, interesting case, where the lady she gave birth, she had a girl, she counted 14 days as being unclean. Now she counted 66 days as being automatically clean. In that time period, 66 days, she conceived from her husband. But she miscarries, you know when? Not during the 66 days. That would be obvious. She brings one korban at the end for everything. And not on the 81st or 83rd day. But it's obvious she has to make two sacrifices. She miscarries on the night coming out of the 80th day. So numerically, calendar-wise, this is already on the 81st day. Right? But guess what? She didn't bring the sacrifices yet. So you can look at it both ways. You can argue and say that as long as, or because of the fact that the 80 days that was prescribed as being tam and tahor, the totality of 80 days is already passed. There's already passed the stars coming out on the night of the beginning of the 81st. I don't care that she hasn't run sacrifices yet. Miscarrying now will warrant automatically a second set of sacrifices. That's one way to look at it. The other way again is no. As long as she hasn't run the sacrifices yet, it was scheduled for tomorrow morning, this miscarriage also gets included. Okay, so that's the words. You ready? The catch is there's an unrelated topic, but the word or is used to describe when she miscarried. Hamapelet, a lady who miscarried, or lishmonim ve'ahad, in the or of the 81st day. Bet Shammai or poterin mikorban. Bet Shammai say that she doesn't have to bring a second korban. When she brings the korban the next morning for the initial birth, it covers the miscarriage as well. Bet Hillel mehayvim. Bet Hillel obligate her to bring a second set of korban afterwards. Okay? Amru Bet Hillel le Bet Shammai. Now again, don't mind the discussion so much. This is just the conflict between them. It's not really that pertinent to us that much. Well, let's see. Said Bet Hillel to Bet Shammai, "My shena or shemoni ve'echad miyom shemoni ve'echad." Bet Hillel said to Bet Shammai, our dear friends, Bet Shammai, don't you agree that if she miscarried tomorrow after bringing the sacrifices 10 minutes later, that she has to bring two sacrifices? Bet Shammai said, of course. Bet Hillel say, wait a minute, it's the 81st day, right? If you're willing to say that you're going past because the 81st day the Abba gets new korban, the night before should also be included. Same thing. She needs new korban. And furthermore, there's a second logic Rashi points out. It's an advanced logic. Furthermore, another logic for Bet Hillel is im shivalo letum'ah. If the Torah says, as far as her status of tum'ah and tahara goes, forget about the miscarriage, the general status of a lady who gave birth in a regular situation, okay? The moment that the 80 days are up for a female and the 40 days are up for a male, that evening and on, if she sees blood, she's tameh. She resumes her normal status of regular nidah with the regular restrictions and regular parameters, right? So the moment that the 80 days are up for a female and 40 for a male, her new status resumed as if it's a whole new thing. So if the Torah is as far as tum'ah goes, the moment the 80 days are up, you're in a new zone already. You revert to what used to be before. Why should it be different as far as korban? Lo yashvelo le korban. The Torah shouldn't equate 81 to as far as korban, whether it's the 81 at night or during the day. Now the Gemara says like this: Milika Amar Bet Hillel le Bet Shammai. From the tone of the conversation, what about Bet Shammai? My shena or shemonim. What was Bet Hillel's problem with Bet Shammai? How do they address the problem to Bet Shammai? What are you guys talking about? Why is the or different than the day? What does that mean? Or means clearly. It means the night. Otherwise, doesn't, right? Otherwise, doesn't, or meant the early morning. Right. What's going on here, right? So clearly, from the context, you see that or as a time window means night. That's the end of the story. It's a complicated topic, but as far as our subject goes, we got the clarity, right? What the proof is. Okay, and guess what? Shema Mina. or urta hushma mina. Undisputed. Now we have three proofs that urta means night. Or means night. Okay? Metive. Another proof. Yachol yenechal or lashelishi. Now, what are we talking about here? Okay? There are different sacrifices that the Torah says you could bring. Okay? Different purposes, different situations, a lot of different parameters. One parameter that matters when it comes to korbanot is the timing. What does that mean? A sacrifice is brought always during the day. That's a fact. It's processed. The shechita, the slaughtering, and the receiving of the blood, the sprinkling of the blood on the mizbeach. It's all during the day. Okay? If it's a korban olah, a burnt offering, nothing gets eaten by anybody. Don't think it's burnt on the altar. Right? If it's a chatat or shlamim, then people eat from it. If it's a chatat, the kohanim eat from it. If it's a shlamim, kohanim get some, and sometimes even the person himself gets some. That's the very, very basic, right? Okay, now, the timing is also an issue. Certain sacrifices, the Torah says you have 1 day to consume what you have to consume. Now, 1 day means the day of the sacrifice and the following evening, till the next morning, you can eat it. Once the next morning comes, if you left any of the flesh over, it's notar, you have to burn it. You can no longer eat it. Okay? That's one thing. The other type of korban, shlamim, you have 2 days to eat it. So you can eat whoever's eating it could eat it on the day of the sacrificing and the processing and the next day. Wait a second. Next day, but how about the next night? That's the question.
I thought the whole idea of doing the night is to say that there is no way for her to bring a korban at night.
Not her.
The chiyuv. No, but I mean like the chiyuv.
No, but there's nothing to do with the.
Another case.
With the oled. No case entirely.
Oh.
This has to do with eating korbanot. Not with the oledet. Not
Oh,
with
okay.
the birthing lady. In general, when you bring a korban chatat, you have 1 day. Shlam, you have 2 days.
Okay.
The question is, when it comes to chatat, when it comes to korban eaten in 1 day, the halacha is clearly that the following evening you can also eat it till the morning.
Okay.
When it comes to shlamim, you have 2 days to eat it. The question arises: does that mean I also have a second night to eat it, which would be logical to equate the 2 days, or no? When the second day ends, when the night begins, I have to stop. That's the question. Okay, here we go. You ready? Metive. There is a question as far as this halacha goes. Okay. Yachol, I would have thought to say the following: Yenechal or lashelishi. I would have thought the logical things to claim that this korban should be eaten, should be allowed to eat, or in the or of the third day as well. Vedinhu, and I would have made the following logical reasoning to make it very, very, very sensible. Zevachim nechalim leyom echad. A korban, zevachim means kodashim, kodesh kodashim, things that are considered that only kohanim partake from them, right? Like a chatat, okay? Chatat or asham, they're eaten in 1 day. However, and shlamim nechalim shtem, and shlamim get 2 days. Ma lehalan laila achar yom. When it comes to the korban that it gets eaten 1 day, we know for a fact that laila, the following night, follows the previous day. And unlike most halachot in the Torah, when a day begins in the evening and ends tomorrow evening, no, when it comes to korbanot, a day begins in the morning and goes to the next morning. So you're allowed to eat the korban that day and the following night. Okay? Afkan, I would argue, same thing over here. When you have 2 days, laila harayom, in 2 days also, you should be able to eat the korban 2 days and 2 following nights. They'll give you the following night, the second night as well. Talmud Lomar, the Torah comes to teach you, that's not true. Beyom zivhachem yachel umimahorat. The Torah says interesting language. On the day you shecht it, you slaughter it, you can eat it. And on the following day, vanotar ad yom, and what remains until the next day, you have to burn. Be'od yom hunechal. From the fact that the word yom is used, the Torah is teaching you that while it's day, it could be consumed. Ve'non echal le'or shelishi. But it cannot be consumed or of the third day. Yachol, so I would think, if you can't eat the Yisaref Miyad, I would think that therefore, you have 2 days to eat this korban. The 2 days end at the end, by the evening of the second day. You can no longer eat it. The second night is out. So fine. So once you reach the second night, you would think it's already notar, it's already left over. I have the right, I should be burning it already, which is what I do when the korban of 1 day gets left over till the following morning. Here, I don't have the morning, I have the evening. Evening comes, I should be burning it. Right? ודין הוא, I would say it's very logical. זבחים נאכלים ליום ולילה אחד, ושלמים נאכלים לשני ימים ולילה אחד. מה להלן תכף לאכילה שרפה, אף כאן תכף לאכילה שרפה. Very basic logic. Can someone please put the AC down to 70? She just set the timer for this time every day. So, very basic logic. Okay? We know the parameters of Zavachim. Kodesh Kodashim. That you have one day and the following night to eat them. When the morning arrives, it's off limits. You can only eat it, you have to burn it. There's no time. So here, the Torah for Kodashim Kalim, for Shlamim, the Torah is giving you 2 days to consume it. The day of the slaughtering and processing, the night of, and then the following day. But when the day ends and the sun sets, you have to stop eating it. So when the time to stop to eating stops, your thing is notar. You should be burning it. Right? To that the Torah says no. Right? We learn that's not true. Bayom. Where are we? Talmud lomar, v'anotar v'v'sar zevach b'yom hashlishi, b'al shisaref. The Torah says that the leftover from the flesh of the zevachim that on the third day gets burned in fire. Bayom ata soref ata sorfo b'layla. It has to be burnt during the day on the third day, not the night before. Now, what does it have to do with our case? What's the inference? Very simple. Midikamar yenachal or la shelishi. When we entertain the idea, you should be giving this korban the extra evening as well, meaning the evening of the first day and of the second day. How do they refer to the evening following the second day? Or la shelishi, the or of the third day. So what does or mean? Night, right? It could have been the early morning. Okay, alma or urtahu shemamina. Another proof we cannot dispute that or in this context as a window means night. Tashma, another proof. There's also an interesting one. Or
do we need multiple proofs?
Why not? It's more fun. Or של יום הכיפורים מתפלל שבע ומתוודה שחרית. ומתוודה. Okay? Or of Yom Kippur. Again, that terminology is still being left vague for us to decide. But it says or of Yom Kippur. You do a short Amidah, that's 7 blessings, Umitvadeh, followed by Vidui, which we do at night, Kippur at night. Shaharit, Mitpalel Sheva, Umitvadeh. Shaharit also, you do an Amidah, that is 7 blessings only, and you do Vidui. Then we do the confession. Then Musaf, Mitpalel Sheva, Umitvadeh. Musaf, again, has 7 blessings, followed by Vidui. Then Mincha, Mitpalel Sheva, Umitvadeh. Mincha also has 7 blessings, and you do a Vidui. Ba'arvit, now the Arvit after Yom Kippur, mitpalel me'en shemona asar. This Tana has an interesting opinion, has a very unique opinion. The Arvit coming out of Yom Kippur, the Chachamim did not want to trouble people who were fasting for the whole day and crying and fasting and putting all the energy out, that they should be doing a full Arvit with a full Amidah, which is 18, 19 barachot. They made a special abridged, it's called Havinenu, it's an abridged version, where you do the first 3 barachot until Haggadah Kadosh, and then you have from Retzan on. In the middle, you have 1 barachah that encapsulates all the 19, all the requests in the middle. 1 barachah. That's the prescription. They don't want to make it right. He says no. They didn't give you that discount. You do the full regular Amidah with 18 blessings. Why? Because Motzi Yom Kippur, you need Havdalah in the Tefillah. Atachonantanu. And Havinenu doesn't have proper slot to insert Atachonan. Therefore, you have to do the whole Amidah. Now, Alma. Now, the proof in this case is super easy. How does it refer to the night of Yom Kippur or Shema Kippurim? Is there a better proof than that? Alma, you see, or Urtau, Shema Amina. Clearly, another proof without, indisputable, that or as a time window means night. Tashma, yet another proof. The Tane, Deve, Shemuel, they learned in the house of Shemuel. Lele arba asar bodekin et hametz leoraner. Their version of this Mishnah was not that we had it in our Mishnah. It didn't say or. This version of the Mishnah, taught by Shemuel's household, was Lele, the night of Arba Asar, the night of the 14th, we check for Chametz. Clearly, Well, what does that mean? They learned or to mean night. Alma or utahu. So after bringing 5, 6 indisputable proofs, the Gemara says Ela. So what are we going to do?
Where in this one do we see as night?
Because he said, when do you check for chametz? Night of the 14th. Lele. He said outright. The Mishnah has a funny terminology. Or l'arba asar.
Oh.
He said it over. He said lele, the night of. He left.
After Korban Pesach, like after.
No, you do it at night, the night before. Going to this.
Oh, it's interesting.
Right? The night going to the 14th. Yeah. Right? Okay, now. Ela. So the Gemara said like this. Ela, the word Ela, by the way, always means that, translated to rather, but it means that we're retracting something. What are we retracting? The Gemara says you misunderstood what was going on here. Ela, rather. Ben Rav Huna, or Ben Rav Yehuda, the Kula Alma or Urtahu. Nobody thought to say it was a mistake. Nobody meant to say, by using the word Noghe, which means twilight, nobody meant to say, you check for Chametz, the early morning on the 14th. Everybody meant the night. Vela pelige, and they're not arguing. Mor kiatre, umor kiatre. They use different terminologies. That's the way they spoke in their locale. Be'atre de Rav Huna karu Noghe, u'vate de Rav Huna karu lele. In Rav Huna's place, they called the beginning of the night Noghe, which means twilight, whatever, it's getting dark. In Yehuda's place, they call lele night, as it literally. So each chacham just used different terminology, but they both mean the same thing. They both mean the night. That's what we do nowadays, right? Okay. The Gemara is with Tanadidan. If that is so, then Tanav our Mishnah. My ta'ama lakatane lele. So then, do me a favor. You're writing a Mishnah, just write night. Right? Why write or and leave it to our imagination to try to figure out what or means? Right? You're trying to get us to spend two pages here discussing it. What's the point? Just say night. Now there's a very beautiful lesson going on here. The Gemara answers, Lishana ma'al Yahudanakat. They didn't want to use the word lele. Why? Naida? Because the Tana chose the cleanest, most prolific language it could take. What does that mean? Uchdosha ben Levi, Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, we will learn this from Yeshua ben Levi, Le'olam al yotzi adam davar megune mipiv. The Torah is teaching us a very, very powerful lesson. Never say anything that's in any way ugly or negative. Now, davar megune doesn't mean lashon hara, doesn't mean outright prohibitions, right? Doesn't mean profanity. It's obvious. You can't say profanity. Okay. What's davar megune? What's davar megune? You ready? Ready? What is the Torah teaching us? Share ikema katuv shemona otiyot. The Torah added seemingly unnecessarily 8 extra letters in order not to say something that's even slightly derogatory. What does it mean? Shene'emar mina behema tehora. This is the Hashem's commandment to Noach to go collect animals. How did God in the Torah, speaking to Noach, phrase what he was supposed to go and collect from planet Earth? Mina behema tehora, from the behema, that is, from the animal that is tahor, that is clean, bring 7. Behema asher enena tehora. It didn't say, and from the animals that are unclean, tameh. No. From the animals that are not clean. Now, if you say behema, hatehora, that's how many letters? Hatehora. 5. If you say asher, enena, if you say teme'ah, hateme'ah is 5. Instead it says asher, enena tehora. If you add up, that's 13. So the Torah is using 8 extra letters, just not to say teme'ah.
In the English language, you don't even have temeh. You have impurity.
Yeah, impure, or right. But the idea is, right now, if you said teme'ah, it's not dirty. It's not a bad word, right? To call something tameh is not bad. It's better not to do. That's the idea.
But it says it so many times in the Torah.
So Rashi points out that in the exact same parasha, it does say tameh. The answer is they use the joke to answer the question. As Rashi really means, it's a mashal. It's like a comical mashal. You could be poetic and prolific when you want to be, but when it comes to legal things, in one place you have to be clear what you mean, right? And when you add a contract, even basic contract, it always says from here on. If it says landlord, it means X, Y, Z. If it means renter, leasee or lessee, all that kind of stuff. Is that because it could be different things, but in one place it make clear. So that is like Tema in one place, But otherwise, language is best expressed in a clear way. Right? It was said that somebody once, based on this Gemara, certain English words that people use that are not cursed, they're not profane words, but they have it like a negative. Meaning, these words were not published in newspapers 100 years ago. All right, so the person doesn't know the word hell. It's not a dirty word, but it could be used in a certain. Can I use the word hell? So, if you looked at the Wall Street Journal 100 years ago, they wouldn't have that word in there. Now it's a different story. Now the whole place is right, a bunch of. So he went to Rav Pam, alav shalom, who was a big tzaddik, who was his Rebbe, and he said, Rebbe, I have certain words in English. I don't know, and then he's embarrassed to say the word. So Rav Pam said, "You mean words like fres? Fres is a Yiddish word, but it means like eat out, like you're being glutton a little bit, right? Now that's the word everybody uses." Pam said, "Fres? No, it's better not to use those words." So he understood. He definitely shouldn't be using, right? So now, to say you have to check at night. What's wrong with night? That's fine. It will convey the message. But night is a time of like, I don't know, it's dark, it's gloomy. Whatever. It's better to say a language that's a little more upbeat. Right? Okay? That's why they use it that way. Okay, now more examples of this. Okay, you ready? Now Papa says, I have a better example. Kesha. I'll give you 9. שנאמר, כי יהיה בך איש, אשר לא יהיה טהור מקטרי לילה. The Torah is in Devarim. I think it's Parashat כי תצא. If you have a man within you who is not clean, אשר לא טהור, מקטרי לילה, he had an incident at night. Now I could have just said, כי יהיה בך איש, אשר טמא. Right? If you add up the letters here you have 9 extra letters. Okay? Ravina Amer, Eser. Ravina says, no, it's 10. You know why? Because when it says, Asher lo tahor, lo tahor, it's written with the vav. It's written tahor with false. So the Torah is using an extra letter also. It's 10 extra letters. Rav Achabar Yaakov Amer, he says a different source. I have a pasuk that's 16 extra letters. Shneimar, it says, Ki amar mikrehu bilti tahorhu. Now this is talking about the onset of the bitter conflict between, really not the onset, but really the sort of the boiling point of the conflict between David, before he was a king, and Shaul, who was the king, who was his father-in-law. And Shaul invited both his family and David, who was his son-in-law, to a Rosh Chodesh party, and David didn't show up. There's two Rosh Chodesh, right? So first day, maybe he has some issue. What's the issue? Maybe he's not clean. That's what Shaul said himself. Second, didn't show up, he got angry at him, and so on and so forth, right? How did he express, Shaul, his suspicion why David did not show up, and is justified? Ki Amar, he said, maybe, mikrehu bilti tahorhu ki lo tahor. Just say mikrehu tamahu. If you add and subtract the letters, there's 16 extra letters here. Mm-hmm. Okay? Tanya, Teve Rabbi Ishmael, le'olam yisaper adam bilshon nakiya. Rabbi Ishmael, a pretty holy person himself, taught the same lesson, taught the same ideal in a different words, in a slightly different context. What did he say? Always le'olam, always a person should speak clean language. Shehare, when it comes to zav, kerao hakatuv, kerao merkav, v'shak kerao moshav. Rabbi Ishmael makes a fascinating inference in the Torah. Okay? We have little time to go into this, but let's try to cover the basics here. There are various levels of emission of tum'ah. So in other words, the tum'ah that a dead Jewish body emits, and the power that it has to permeate, is more than the body of a non-Jewish deceased person. Okay? The tum'ah of a dead body permeates one way. The tum'ah of a zav or a zava permeates one way. A nida is less, permeates a different way, so on and so forth. Okay, dead animals, right? So when it comes to zav or zava, very interestingly, they could be sitting on, imagine you have a horse with 5 saddles on top of each other, or you have 10 cushions on top of each other. The person sits on the top cushion, only touching one cushion, right? Okay? The whole thing becomes tummy by zav or zava. There's a special thing that as long as there's any weight on it, so to speak, and leaning on it, sitting on it, it gets passed all the way down. The Torah uses, when it comes to zav and a zava, male and female, even the exact same halacha, the exact same application, different languages, different cases. When it comes to a male, when it comes to a zav, the Torah says merkav, what he's riding on, like a saddle or something. When it comes to a lady, zava, it says moshav, what she's sitting on. Even though, again, it's the exact same application, right? But different objects. Why? Listen to this one. Because when it comes to a lady, and a lady rides a horse or a donkey, whatever animal she's riding on, she has to open her legs. Now, if a Jewish lady is going to ride a donkey, she should be wearing a skirt, nothing, right? But still, there's some remote imagination involved that this thing in your head has some connotation of opening your legs. The Torah says no, a seat. Because when you sit down, you can close your legs. When it comes to the male, they use a merkava, which is a riding, that's more acceptable. That's how far the Torah went to try to keep our, right? Okay, fine. Now, let's stop here because I don't want to stop mincha, but tomorrow we'll pick it up. It's easy stuff. Or after Arvit, whatever you guys want.